Calico.
Calico?
Is it going to pass the shelf test?
Test? There's a test?
Yeah.
Hi, we're Shelf Control. I'm Norm.
I'm Lisa.
And we are playing through our collection, trying to practice some shelf control and battle against board game Entropy.
It's a thing. It's a real thing.
We have way too many games on our shelf, so we're going through and figuring out which ones stay and which ones go.
So today we're going to be talking about Calico. Calico is a tile laying game where you have a nice dual layered board with hexagonal shapes on it, and you're going to be drafting hexagonal tiles of different colors with different patterns on them.
You're making a quilt.
And you're making a quilt. Your whole goal is to attract the different cats to your quilt. And different cats want different patterns that are selected at random at the beginning of the game, and they want those patterns in a particular shape, or the cat's not going to lay on your quilt because cats are finicky.
Cats are normal!
You also will have these tiles that get placed in specific places on your board that also will give you points for having certain patterns.
And I think you have, 6 of them?
There's 6.
And then you draw at random 4, and then you look at those 4 and decide which 3 of those you'll keep to place on your board.
And you can choose where on the board on one of these 3 spaces to put each one.
Yeah, there's a distinct space, but you can choose which one you put on each space.
And so, like for example, this one here needs tiles that are not the same around it. And so there's 6 different colors in the game. So if you can get 6 different colors around here, you'll score the 10 points. But there's also 6 different patterns. So if you can match both of them, get 6 different colors and 6 different patterns around here, you get the bigger number, the 15. And so both of these are, all these tiles are somewhat different. This one is having a pattern of 3 of one kind and 3 of another. So if you can get 3 yellows and 3 blues, you'll get the first. And if your 3 yellows and 3 blues are also 3 polka dots and 3 stripes, you'll get the full 13 points. And so these are going to be set on your board in a particular spot, and you're going to be placing your tiles down to try to match these patterns with the patterns that the cats want. Plus, if you get 3 of a color together, you get to put that color button.
You get a button to put on your
quilt. And if you can get one button of each of the 6 colors,
you get a rainbow button.
You get a special rainbow button for another 3 points. So at the end of the game ends when everyone has filled up their spot. No empty hexes.
And whoever wins gets the Master Quilt blue ribbon. The coveted Master Quilter blue
Master
ribbon.
Quilter. And so the way you get your points is you're going to be totaling up the cats that you were able to entice onto your quilt.
So for instance, let me see Leo. Leo wants 6.
4.
No,
5.
wants 5.
He wants
5. 4, 5, or 6. Wants 5 in a straight line. So,
And-
which can be a little challenging.
And so let's say he had this tile.
Yep. So
He'll
you
have,
need to get the flower tile or
this one's kind of a leafy.
a leafy pattern. So if you can get 6 in a row, 5 in a row of either of these patterns, and it can't be a mixture of both. It has to be one or the other. So if you get 5 in a row of this pattern, you will get Leo on your quilt, and he is worth 11 points at the end of the game.
He'll sit on your quilt, and at the end of the game, you flip him over for 11 points.
So you definitely want to try to get Leo if possible. There was also
Sierra.
Kira.
She was 9.
She wants 6 of
6 tiles.
6 tiles of the palm tree or the straight lines.
She wanted stripes or the palm leaves.
And just 6. It doesn't have to be in a straight line. It can be in any shape. They just all have to be touching. So if you get 6 of those in those patterns, you get Kira, Sierra.
And the last game we played had Tibbet, who was similar. He only needs 4.
He needs 4. They just have to touch. It doesn't matter what.
And he was
shape they're in.
he was polka dots and these little they're not quite fleur-de-lis, but it's some sort of repeating pattern.
And he's worth 5 points if you get that.
And so you add up the cats and the buttons and your scoring tiles that you set down here, and whoever has the most points wins the Master Quilting ribbon.
So it's a very simple game to teach people, but it's challenging in that you're trying to get 3 of the same color together so you can get buttons. To get the rainbow button, you also need to try to achieve your individual goals. And then you also want to get some cats on your quilt. So there's 3 different things you're going towards. And so it can be a little challenging. So you got to be strategic in how you're placing your patterns and colors. So the 2 of them together. So Norm went into his. He had, the last game we played, he had the 6 of a different, that couldn't match. And he ended up getting 6 of different patterns and 6 different colors. So he got the higher points,
that
which
was
15 points
right there.
So he ended up winning the game, I think, by 6 points, which, of course, and then he also had a Leo, so he had 5.
I was able to get the 5 of 1.
5 in a straight line, so he was a bit of a jerk.
Which was a little bit difficult with my tile of no 2 tiles being the same. There was like one spot on my board where I could put 5 in a row. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try that, but it's gonna be real easy to mess that up.
So again, pretty simple game to teach. It's just you got a few things you're trying to keep up with at the same time. So you got to be strategic in how you're placing your patterns and colors.
So might as well talk about what we like and don't like about this game, because that puzzle of trying to sort everything together and trying to get 3 different requirements to work is really intense.
Mm-hmm. And that is one of the things that I like. For it being a cutesy looking game, there's a bit of a challenge to it, so I appreciate that. I mean, it's colorful, so I like it. It's cute, of course, so I like it. And it's cute little cats on it. So I may not be a cat person, but I think cats are adorable. So I like all of the aspects of how it looks, of the design of the game.
So what do you think about the components? They're all cardboard.
They're all cardboard, but they work perfect. So it's a thicker cardboard. You don't have to worry about it being flimsy. Of course, you're not going to purposely bend it. But if you get mad and chuck your quilt at someone's head, it might hurt a little bit. Not speaking from experience. But I think the components work fine. There's no need to upgrade into more, metal or
No.
more sturdy components.
Yeah, this doesn't need an upgrade. It even comes with a bag to randomize all the different quilting pieces. So
it's got, the game's got everything you need.
It's got it all!
The one complaint that I would have has to do with setting up the game with these cats. The cat tiles have different dots in the bottom. This one's a 3 dot and a 2 dot and a 1 dot. And the game comes with 2 1s, 2 2s, and a 3, and they're double-sided. They have a different cat on each side. So Gwen is on this side, Leo is on this side. They're both 11-point cats, but they're looking for something else. Leo's looking for the 5 in a straight row. Gwen's just looking for 7 of the same pattern. However you can get them match. And so what you do is you randomly pick a level 1 cat. And so you have 2 level 1 tiles that are double-sided, so there's 4 different level 1 cats. Same thing with the 2 dots, there's 2 of those, so there's 4 different of those. There's only 1 level 3 cat, Gwen or Leo. And so you'll randomly pick which side for the 3, which of the 2s you're going to use and which side, and same thing with the 1, which of the ones you're going to play and which side. And they have the little cat tiles that match the picture of the cat, so you know who's who. It's a bit of a pain. I did something in the bags where I have the cat's tile in the bag, in a bigger bag, but then I also have a smaller bag inside holding loose in here is one of the cats, and this is the cat for the other side of that tile, and so I'll put them in there because it's such a pain picking which cat am I going to use. Am I going to use Tecalot or
Decolte?
or coconut? And they're both in a similar position, laying on their side, and
It's
they're
pretty
both
much
they're both a similar color.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same color cat. It's just one is sitting up a little bit, one's laying down curled up. So they're really similar. If you're trying to set up quickly, you're going to have to take a little bit of extra time to focus.
It would have been nice if the other side of this one had like this light colored cat.
Mm-hmm.
So then you just reach in here and be like, okay, we're using the light side, so I'll use the light cats. But these are two cats, roughly the same color, roughly the same position, and when it was just this tile with all the cats loose together, you're having to sort them out. Now it might have been nicer if they just doubled up on the same cat, and so both sides of this matched the one cat tile in here, and just include more cats. I don't know, but it's a I had to come up with my own way of sorting through the cats to try and make it easier to set up each little dish with the proper cat.
I don't have a problem with the cats, but I don't set up the games.
Yeah, so this is a me problem. So that's my one nitpick with the game, is that they thought it'd be neat to include a bunch of these cats, but then it's almost like they didn't think about what could streamline the process for setting up. You know, what can be a little bit difficult and things like that.
Other than that, any other complaints?
I think that's my only complaint. Talking about what we like about the gameplay. This game has tension in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's really interesting because at the beginning, it's wide open. You've got dreams of accomplishing everything, and
Well, after each turn, so you start the game with 2 patterns in your hand, and then there's 3 out front for 2 players. And so once I go, I place one from my hand down on my quilt, and then I have to pick one from the 3 out on the board. So I don't get a choice of what my next ones are going to be. It's going to be limited to one of these 3. And so you don't always get the tiles you need, the patterns or the colors you need. So that's very frustrating if you're not getting it. If you're almost filled up and you need one more to complete one of your requirements and it doesn't come up, you're out of luck. You're not going to get that bonus. So that's very frustrating. So again, you're very limited to what tile you're going to get next. So you got to be really careful and strategize on how you're going to make the most of what you got.
And so you've got to, there are spots on the board that you can kind of use as a throwaway spot. Being like, I don't have a spot for either of these, but I have to play one before I pick one of those. So I'm going to throw it up here in this corner where it's not messing with this down here.
Mm-hmm.
But you're limited as to how many spaces aren't touching one of these. So actually it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mm-hmm. You've got like six spaces that you can throw some trash in. And as your board fills up and you've used up those trash spaces, then you have to start thinking, okay, which of these am I going to give up on?
Yeah.
Like, I was trying my best to get 6 different colors with 6 different patterns, and it got to the point where it's like I needed one specific color with one specific pattern, and I'm just throwing other tiles around out of the way, hoping that it's going to show up. And luckily, eventually, it did. So
He's very lucky.
you've also got that luck element in there.
He's always lucky in games.
It's not about luck, pal. Not about luck.
You kind of have to have a poker face too, because if it's on my turn, I play one of mine, I pick one of those 3, and then the tile that I want flips face up, then I need to hope that my opponent or opponents because it can play up to 4, doesn't take that tile when it gets back around to me. and so then you've got all these decisions. It's one of those games where the future you is going to hate the decisions that the past you made.
And in looking at the game, I mean, if you were to just look at the box, I mean, I could see how young kids could be like, oh, that's a game for us, for young kids. And it's not necessarily. I mean, the age is 10 and up, and I could see that. You know, kids younger than that aren't really going to understand, you know, how to get the I mean, they may.
I think there's some kind of like family-friendly mode. Yeah, there's a family variant.
Okay. Which is great because, I mean, this is a cute game, so it would attract some younger kids. We like it because we've got some younger nieces and nephews that we could bring it to the table and that might catch their interest. You know, or bringing it to some game nights with a group of people. You know, that's something that maybe some heavyweight gamers don't want to play. Some of the other ones, they may play this. But again, there's some strategy and there's some stress involved in this one.
Yeah, so I have actually been reluctant to get this game because it's been compared to Cascadia, the one with the animals and the habitats that you're putting out. And if you see our Cascadia video, we liked it, and it doesn't have the constraint of a dual layer board with the borders. It can spread out anywhere, and so there's less constriction. There's a whole lot less of, oh, I wish I didn't put that tile there.
I mean, I could see some similarities between the two, but to me, they're completely separate, different games.
And people were talking about how constrained you are with Calico, and so I'd actually picked up Cascadia first because I thought I would like that openness more. But you know what? I like the constraints of this
I think
better.
it adds to the pressure of the challenge. I think it's good to have that.
If you saw the video, I compared Cascadia to like doing a word search while drinking a cup of coffee, kind of a nice relaxing endeavor. Calico is more like you're doing a word search with a hot cup of tea, but your opponent's a cat that keeps pushing that cup of tea closer to the edge of the board, and then all of a sudden your elbow bumps the tea and spills hot tea into your lap, and you're regretting even bringing hot tea to the table. It's
very descriptive.
I mean, that's how this feels, because you're making decisions that it's like, okay, I'll put this here, and then things are going to work out, and then things don't work out, and it's like, why did I put that there, and why is my opponent taking that tile when I need it? And yeah, this is definitely not a nice relaxing game.
There are times you want to throw a punch your opponent, especially when they take the tile you desperately need. So,
but it turns out I was wrong. I enjoy that a lot more than the wide open.
Well, are you giving away your?
Yeah. I'm not burying the lead. Is there anything you want to say before you go into rating it?
No, I'm ready. Because
Okay.
otherwise, I'm going to give away.
Well, I guess I've already given away the plot.
Cat's out of the bag.
So I.
Cat's off the quilt.
For the game mechanics, we score a game 0 to 7 on game mechanics, and I would give it the 7 out of 7 for game mechanics. Then the difficulty setting up, the rules are so simple. The strategy comes from the constraints that you've placed upon yourself, and the game places upon you, and the past decisions that you made, and so the flow of the game is just so easy, but the puzzle is just so crunchy. And so, yeah, I don't think
we're just talking about components.
Yeah, I don't think it can be.
No, I don't.
The game can be improved.
I agree. I don't see a way that they can improve what they have. Again, the components, they're thicker cardboard, but they work perfect for the game. And I'm usually a stickler for wanting the upgraded components. There's no need for that on this. It works perfect. So yeah, I would give it a 7 as well.
7?
Yep.
And so for the remaining, the X factor, the fun factor, that goes 0 to 3. I would give it a 2, leaning towards a 3. This feels like a 10 out of 10 game for me, but it's not one that I'm itching to play.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm itching for this type of game, this is the one that I'm going to want to play. Like if I'm looking for a short game to introduce to people with the tile laying, Cascadia might be the nicer one to introduce to them, but the puzzle of this is so enticing that I think
this one's the more challenging of the
so you know, I'm going to give it a 2 because I don't know that I would pick this game over other games, but if I want a short game with a really intriguing puzzle, this is the one that I'm going to go to. So it's leaning towards the 10. We'll say 9.5. I don't really do the points, so it's a 9 leaning to a 10. This is a really good game. What's your...
I'm giving it a 3, so I'm going full 10.
You're going to 10 out of 10.
Again, it's not, why aren't we playing this right now? But for what it is, it's a 10. So again, if we're looking for a game with these kind of mechanics or this kind of genre, this is the game we're going to go for. It's a great introduction game for new people. We've played it. Norm brought it when he went to play games with his cousin and his cousin's son, so they really enjoyed it. It's just a great starter game for people, and then it gets that challenge going that they're like, okay. So many people don't understand that board games are so much more than like a Monopoly. And so when you say let's play board games, that's all they think of. And then you bring out something like this and they're like, whoa, board games can be this kind of fun as well. And yeah, absolutely. So this is something we really enjoy, getting people getting their feet wet and saying, okay, we want to know more about the kind of board games y'all play.
Yeah, I think the cat might be pushing this a little bit closer to the 10 for me too.
Too late.
I mean, that's,
Too late.
All right, so it's a 9 leaning to a 10.
I did a 10. So the question remains, does it stay in the collection? Just because it's a 9 and 10 doesn't mean it stays in the collection.
Yeah, it absolutely stays in the collection. That's my vote. You agree?
It stays in the collection.
So now here's the question. What does it do to Cascadia?
Oh, dear. No, that's not a question. That's not a fair question. They're they're similar, but I don't compare them. They're so his parents really enjoy Cascadia.
But then again, they bought their copy.
They bought their copy, so if we want to play with... Oh my, that's...
Yeah, so I'll tell you where I'm at. This hasn't pushed Cascadia off the table, but this is a cat that is definitely pushing it.
No,
This,
well, I'm the one pushing for shelf control, and he mentions getting rid of Cascadia. And the only reason I hold Cascadia, and I think we did the review of that one on Canada Day, just because there were so many wild animals that kind of triggered and reminded us of Canada and him being Canadian. But I don't know. That one I think is just kind of dear to my heart that I'm not ready to let that one go.
let it go, let it go.
So
yeah, they'll both stay for now.
So Calico is staying, and Calico is slowly tapping Cascadia
That
off.
finicky little cat.
So, this is the case where I might be the one who's like, hey, we can get rid of it, and she's the one that keeps it. This is totally against character.
That is totally against character. We've totally reversed roles. Is it Freaky Friday?
So that's Calico.
That's Calico for you.
What do you think? Have you played both Calico and Cascadia? What do you think?
Which one do you like better? Does one stay in your collection or does both?
Have you avoided Calico like I did at first because you were scared of the tension and the restrictions?
Go for it.
I give it a try.
Yeah, jump right into that tension.
All right, so Calico is staying on our shelf.
It's staying. So if you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to us, follow us on Instagram. We try to upload pictures of games when we play. We're not that great at it, but
We're not good
we're
at
getting
the social
better.
media.
Yeah, we're getting better.
So yeah, we're playing through our collection of games to see what stays and what goes. So if
Trying
you
to
find
do-
these reviews of older games, not the hot new stuff, please subscribe, like, and share it with your friends.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing. So we'll be hopefully doing a review a week, and we'll keep going.
All right, great. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.